might be asking today that, okay, so I'm just going to dive right in. I'm just going to start talking about the topic right away. So if you're doing AZ900, this is actually a part of AZ900. So if you're doing AZ204, it's there as well. And if you're doing architecting with Azure, it's a part of the models you'll find there as well. So today, I'm just going to walk you through. I'm going to let you know what it is. We're going to talk about it so that in case you come across any scenario that has, yeah, so you can easily relate with it. So I'm going to quickly look at my slide. Okay, so let me quickly bring up my slide. Okay, so my slide is actually, hold on, just give me a minute. So let me share my slide. So Raj, how many people do we have on this call?
We are having 86 attendees here.
Wow, that's a lot of crowd. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure that you're not going to be, I'm very, very sure that you're not going to be disappointed by attending this lecture. What is Internet of Things? Okay, so Internet of Things, oh yeah, let me, before I start sharing slide, let me do it this way. So we are 86 in number, okay? We are 86 in number attending this lecture. Now, one thing I want you to know is that, okay, so assuming that the whole 86 of us, including Suraj, myself, we want to be able to, yeah, we want all our computers to talk to each other, okay? That is just what Internet of Things is all about. So the ability of your computer, Suraj's computer, my computer, everyone's computer that is attending this event, this meeting, to communicate with each other. That's what Internet of Things is all about. So I'm sure that in your houses, okay, assuming you have a smart fridge, you have a smart TV, you have everything smart, you have a smartwatch, iOS, your phone, you want everything to communicate to each other, okay? That is, so mind you, before they communicate, you need to connect them, okay? So the ability of internet connected devices to communicate with each other is just what Internet of Things is all about. So I've defined it for you. I've defined it for you, and that's just it. Okay, so let me quickly go back to the slide so that we can start talking. So I'm sure that you can see my slide. You see the definition. The first line, I've broken it down for you. So I'm going to be so with regards to Azure, when you're talking about Internet of Things, you need to look at three components. So with Azure, okay, with your exams, you just need to look at three most important components. Number one, okay, so IoT Central. So we said that the ability of all our computers to talk to each other is Internet of Things. So if you have everybody's computer talking to each other, you need a place to manage all those computers. Okay, so let's assume we are even more than 80 something. Okay, maybe we are about 10,000 people. So 10,000 people from different places with sending signal every minute. So you want something that you can use to monitor everybody, to control everything, to manage everything. That's where internet, the first component comes in, which is IoT Central. So IoT Central is a fully managed global software as a service solution. It makes it easy for you to connect, monitor, and manage. Guys, don't get confused, okay? Like I said earlier on, if you have a lot of computers, a lot of devices you want to manage, remember, manage. You want to take care of them. You want to know what is happening to all of them at the same time. Then you look at IoT Central. So that's the first devices. That's the first component. Now, secondly, if we say Internet of Things, okay, if we say Internet of Things, we say all our computers are communicating with each other, they're talking to each other, they're definitely going to be sending a message. Something is going to be sent out. A message is going to be sent out by each of those computers. Okay, so now, so a message is going to be sent by each of those computers. So when those messages are sent, you need a place. Okay, you need a place to be able to get those messages. So that's where IoT Hub comes in. Okay, so IoT Hub is just a bi-directional messaging center. So I'm sure that in your phone, we all have in your phones. Okay, we all have a messaging center in our phones. Okay, so when someone sends a message, it enters your a messaging center. So you can see your the SMS from the message from your telecom provider. You can send a message from your mom. You can send a message from your friends. Okay, so yeah, so you can see all the messages together like that. So guys, I've told you two things now. You need a place to manage all the devices. You need another place for the messages coming from all our computers. Okay, so that place is what is called IoT Hub. Okay, now, lastly, with regards to your exam, okay, if we're talking about the fact that all our computers are going to be connected together, all our computers are going to be speaking with each other, there's going to be one little fear. Okay, we will probably be afraid someone might hack, uh, intercept your message. Someone might hack into your computer, hack into the communication. So because of that, Microsoft created a special operating system. Okay, so Microsoft did all they could. They made sure that there is an operating system that is different, patented, and it belongs to Microsoft, so that you can be sure that whenever you're doing anything relating to IoT, it is going to be safe. And that operating system is what is called IoT Sphere. Yes, someone's hand is raised up. Can you ask your question? I'll answer you. Okay, so I thought someone's hand was raised up. Okay, so I've spoken in these 7 minutes. I've been talking. Uh, I've spoken about three very important components. Okay, when you're talking about IoT in Azure, we have three important components. Okay, one of them is IoT Central for managing all the devices. The second one is IoT Hub, where the messages comes in, and the last one is IoT Sphere. So three very important components when it comes to IoT in Azure. So I'm going to push it. I'm going to push it a little bit down. I want you to really understand. I want you to see that this is not a big deal. So we're going to go to Azure portal. Okay, we're going to go to Azure portal. I'm going to show you. I'm going to connect a Raspberry Pi. So Raspberry Pi is a computer at the size of my hand. Okay, so I'm going to create I'm going to create IoT Hub. Okay, so I'm going to connect the IoT Hub to yeah, I'm going to create IoT Hub. I'm going to connect the device to it. Then I'm going to connect it to the Raspberry Pi. So it's going to send a message and we'll see it in real life. So if you have your Azure portal, I'd like you to log in. It's portal.azure.com. Let me share my entire screen so that you can see what I'm doing. So you're going to have portal.azure.com. So I'm going to share my entire screen. I need to close the previous one. Okay, so share entire screen. Okay, good. So hopefully you can see what I'm doing. So it's going to be portal Azure. Um, no, it's just portal.azure.com. Yeah, so leave this login out. It's supposed to go through. Yeah, portal.azure.com. So if you have an Azure account you want to follow, okay, so if you want to follow along, please do. I really want you to understand. Okay, so let's assume you want to do something fun. You want to connect. Let's say you want to connect the refrigerator in your house. If it's a smart fridge, you want to connect your refrigerator in your house so that I send signals to Azure portal. Same way that whatever I'm going to do is still the same process. So after this demo, I'm going to tell you about a project that I implemented in real life using Azure, using all these technologies that I'm talking about. So Azure. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is you're going to, when you're looking to do anything in Azure, you need to just search for the name of the thing. So we're searching for IoT Hub. So just type the name IoT Hub. Okay, so IoT Hub came out. So we're going to create a new one, create. So remember what I told you earlier on, okay? So your phone itself has a messaging center. So messages come from everywhere to house all the messages. So all your friends can send you messages. Your mom can send you messages. Your telecom provider can send you messages. Everybody can send you messages. That's the same way. That's exactly the same thing IoT Hub does. Okay, it's a bi-directional messaging center. Okay, it's just a messaging center between a device in the cloud and whatever you're connecting. Okay, so the first thing when you're going to implement an IoT project, the first thing to do is to create that messaging center, which is IoT Hub. So yeah, so just like every other Azure resource, you search for the name, you click enter, it's going to come out. So yeah, so also remember, before you do anything in Azure, you need a subscription. Okay, what is an Azure subscription? Remember guys, the same way you need to pay rent before you get into an apartment. That's how you need a subscription before you can use an Azure resource. Okay, so um, so I have a subscription here. It's Azure Pass. Then the next thing they're asking for is a resource group. This is okay. I have so many resource group. I put. I'm just gonna choose one. Okay, so you need to give your instance a name. I'm gonna call this yeah, IoT Saturday. Okay, the name is random. You can choose to give your IoT Hub any name that you want. Okay, so I'm just going to leave everything else as default. I'm just going to review and create. Okay, so so you can see that when you click review and create, it will tell you about everything that is there. Just click on create. So this is actually fun. I'm actually teaching you to do something cool with with IoT. Okay, so remember the first thing you need to do to create IoT Hub, and it's not difficult to do at all. Just need to search for the name and type it there. You need to wait for it. Okay, so it's already deploying as you can see from the screen. Hopefully everyone is seeing my screen. So I'd like you to know something, okay? So if you're not too experienced, okay, so if you're not too experienced, I'd like you to know that for someone that is experienced, that's already been working for years, okay, it's the same as your portal, okay, that they're going to use to do whatever they're doing. So it's good to get hands-on experience. So get free credit. Azure has free Azure. Yeah, it has free Azure trial credits that you can use to practice. Okay, so practice would help you get some hands-on experience. So I'd like you to get that free credit and try this on your own. So like I said earlier on, just search for IoT Hub and create it. Okay, so let's hold on for our deployment to be complete. So we need to wait till the whole deployment is complete, is in progress. The lesson is just 1 hour. Hopefully, I'll be done in the next 25 minutes because after the demo, I'm going to connect everything and you see it for yourself. So for the person that is asking, what is delaying us right now is just the deployment, but we need to wait until the deployment is fully completed. So just be patient with me. While the deployment is going on, I'm going to be typing on my screen. I'm going to be searching for Raspberry Pi simulator, Raspberry Pi. Because I'm going to put what you should do is to search Azure Raspberry Pi simulator. So you need the word Azure. So my internet is a little bit slow. I think I'm going to use the
Rafael was having some signal issues. Am I audible? Yes. And am I audible? I hope I'm audible. Okay. So yeah, and yeah, he's having some issue with his network. So he said he is reconnecting with us. Once he is back, we should be able to resume it. Sorry guys for the unexpected delays during the session.
I want to see if you're following along. What is IoT Hub? I want to see your answers in the chat window.
Okay,
Can you guys
I
hear
think
me?
yes, you're finally back. Yeah, it was not audible uh,
Oh,
for a while.
okay. I'm
So
so sorry, guys.
no, I think we
Okay, I'm
can
so sorry,
resume.
guys. So what I did, okay, I created IoT Hub. Okay, I created IoT Hub. That was the first thing I did. Okay, remember what I said IoT Hub is. Who remembers from the first part of the lecture before I went off? What is IoT Hub? Okay. So Faisal has an idea. Who else? Who else? Drop it in the chat window. Let's keep it conversational. I really want you to understand what we're talking about. So who else? Okay, so let me tell you once more. Okay, so remember how the lecture started. Thank you, Ibali. Okay, so let me tell you, remember how the lecture started. Okay, now we are over 80 in this meeting. We are 80 people. So your computer, my computer, Suraj's computer, Olani's computer, Rollins' computer, everybody's computer to communicate together. So the ability of all our computers to be able to communicate is Internet of Things. That's number one. Number two, if our computers are communicating, we need to get messages from the computer. Something needs to come out of the computer. We need to get messages. We need to work on these messages. Now, I also mentioned to you that take a look at your smartphone, the phone that you have in your hand. You have a messaging center in your phone. Thank you, everyone that dropped answers in the chat window. That's enough. So let's continue with our conversation. Now, remember, guys. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, you have a messaging center in your phone. All messages come there. So for Internet of Things, you need that kind of messaging center as well. Okay, so and that messaging center for Internet of Things is what is called IoT Hub. Okay, so now the first thing we did, I went to Azure portal. I just typed IoT Hub, and I created that messaging center for our Internet of Things, for our internet connected devices. So the next thing you're going to do, you don't just create a messaging center and leave it there. So you're going to we have the messaging center, but we're going to create a device inside that messaging center where our messages from the Raspberry Pi will be entering. So follow along with me. Let's take a look at Azure portal. So next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to click on devices. Okay, so I'm on devices. I just clicked on, I look at device management. I just click on devices. Okay, so it's not difficult at all. Okay, so my internet is like slow, but yeah, let's wait for it. Oops. Okay, this is taking unusually long, but it's because of my internet, guys. It's just supposed to be one click. Okay, so while I'm waiting for my internet to open the device I want to create, I want to tell you about a project that I created relating to this. Now, I'm not going to be mentioning names because every project that I do in real life has a non-disclosure agreement. But I want to tell you something, okay? This company came to my company. Oh, you can't see my shared screen. I thought I was sharing my screen. Okay, hold on. Just give me a minute. Okay, so share entire screen. Okay, so I'm sharing my entire screen now. I'm trying to, oh, okay. So yes, I'm going to talk about the story later, okay? Because that story is a real world example of implementing Internet of Things, okay? So let's go and create the device first, then we'll come back to the story later on. Okay, so now remember all I did, okay? So I want you to remember, I don't want you to forget. This is easy to do, okay? Remember what I said. You all got the answers when I asked what is IoT Hub. You got the answers, you put it in the chat window. Now, if you have that messaging center for your Internet of Things, internet connected devices, you need to create a device inside our messaging center, okay? So yeah, so I just clicked on device management devices. So you need to click here, click on add device, okay? So okay, so it's opening. Okay, so I just clicked on add device and this came out. So let's say I want to give my device a name. Let me give it my name. My name is Raphael, so I'm just going to type Raphael there. So you can leave every other thing as default. I only added a name, okay? So if you're doing a demo later on, just add a name. That will be enough, okay? Just add a name. So I've added a name. I'm just going to click on save. I'm just going to click on save. Okay, so it's taking a while. I can see that it's trying to save, but I'm just going to wait for it. Okay, it's showing that it is saved, but it's actually saved. Okay, so I'm going to click on this first alarm. So we have, as you can see from my screen, we have a device already in our IoT Hub, and the name is called Raphael. So my name. So I'm going to open it. So this is the device that we've created inside the IoT Hub. But before I go further with the device, let me go back to our IoT Hub, and I want to show you something, okay? So remember, we said IoT Hub is a bi-directional messaging center. So now messages are expected to be entering into our IoT Hub. Now remember, also remember, okay, I just created a device, okay? Now you can see here, because I created one device, it's showing that I have one device. But so far you can see there is zero message. Remember what I told you earlier on, it's just a messaging center, but you have to put that word bi-directional. Bi-directional because we have device here. There's a communication between the device we added and the device we're getting that message from. So later I will tell you a story that relates to this. So, but for now, let's go back to our device. So you've seen that currently at this moment we have zero messages, okay, and we just connected one device. So it's possible, guys, it's possible to connect 800 devices, okay? So we are about 80 here, 80 plus. So it's possible to connect 80 devices and get messages from all the devices. So assuming that I want to get messages from all your computers, or everybody that is attending this meeting today, I want to get messages from everyone. What I just need to do is to create, let's say we are 90 in numbers, okay? So I need to create 90 devices in that IoT Hub. So messages from each person's device, we go there, okay? So now let's continue with our demo, okay? So I'm trying to open the device I created earlier on. So I gave it my name. Okay, so you can give yours any name that you want. Okay, so I'd like you to take note of primary connection string. So the thing is this, okay, when you create a device, in IoT Hub, okay, you need to connect that device to what you want to get message from. So listen, guys, I want to get message from your computer. It means that I need to create a device in IoT Hub and connect the device to your computer. So that's what we're trying to do. But in this particular demo, it's not going to be your computer. It's going to be the Raspberry Pi. Okay. So what you need to take from the device you just created to your computer or Raspberry Pi is the primary connection string. So I need you to look at this primary connection string. Okay. I need you to click on this, click on the I symbol. It will open the connection string for you. So let's just copy it. So I've copied the connection string. Let's go back to the Raspberry Pi we opened earlier on. So this is the Raspberry Pi. So what I'm interested in here, as you can see from the screen, the Raspberry Pi is not on, it's off. Okay, the LED light in red is not blinking at all. It's not blinking, meaning that it's not in an on state. Okay, so let's take a look at line number 14. Okay, the code on line number 15. Okay, so if you look at the code on line number 15, it's saying const connection string. It gave a placeholder for your connection string. Okay, so remember I just copied connection string. Okay, listen guys, I copied connection string. Okay, primary connection string, I copied it. So I'm going to put it inside the Raspberry Pi. Okay, and where I need to put it is line number 15. So I'm going to just remove the placeholder. I'm just going to remove the placeholder and paste the connection string there. So I hope that you all can see my screen. So I'm just going to paste it there. Yeah, so I've pasted it just to be sure. So you can see that the placeholder is removed. So you can see that the placeholder is removed. The primary connection string is have been placed inside the IoT, the Raspberry Pi. So you can see that I have something from the device I created in Azure to my device I want to get a message from. So everything is set. Everything is set. I want to start relaying messages. So all I just need to do is to click on run. Okay. So I clicked on run, and if you can see my screen, okay, it's a little bit slow, but it hasn't started sending messages, but it said it's running. The the LED is supposed to blink. Okay, so I think I have an error. I'm going to reset it and do it again. I have an error. I'm going to stop it. I'm going to reset it. Okay, so let's take a look at line number 15. I'm going to remove, oh, sorry, my light went off. My face should be a little bit dark because light went off. So I'm going to remove the the placeholder again and place the connection string and take a look carefully and see where that error came from. I think everything is okay. Everything is okay. I'm just going to click on run. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, you can see that my LED is blinking. I don't know if anyone is noticing that the LED is blinking now. Okay, so someone said he wants to see how I set up the Raspberry Pi. So I'm going to stop this. I'm going to stop the Raspberry Pi, but you can see that it's blinking, meaning that, and it has actually started sending messages. Okay, so for the person that I ask, I'm going to open in a fresh tab. I'm going to open in a fresh tab Raspberry Pi. All I just need you to do is to type in Google Azure Raspberry Pi simulator. Okay, so just type in Google, and it's going to bring you that to this page that is loading. Okay, it's going to bring you to this page that is loading. And when that page opens, you look for line number 15. So remember, you must have created your IoT hub. You must have created a device in IoT hub. You need the primary connection string. So you take the primary connection string and place in line number 15. So you see line number 15. Okay, let's see the new one. Oops. Okay, okay. I think because I already opened one is, yeah, okay. So because I already opened one, I need to stop. But hold on, the person asking question, during the question time, I think I'll stop that one and redo for you. But you can see that we are getting messages from something is already going from, no, guys, the fun part of it is this, okay? Remember at the beginning, I showed you the messaging. I showed you the center, okay? It says we connected one device and it showed 0 messages, okay? But guess what? Let's go and take a look at it again and see what happens. So let's take a look at it. Let's go to the overview page of our IoT Hub. Okay, so if I scroll down a little bit, okay, it says it has sent 1 message, but it's actually more than this, because if we take a look at the okay, so I think I opened too many tabs. I need to close this. This is the one we're working with. You can see it's blinking, it's sending. I don't know why it's slow. Maybe it's my internet, but usually the amount of time I've spent, it would have sent so many messages, probably 100 or more. But to be honest with you, at the beginning of this talk, I opened this for you. The messages it showed was 0. Okay, and the device, because it was one device we connected, it showed. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, take a look at the screen. The Raspberry Pi has sent 95 messages already. So, guys, if we want to connect everybody's computer that are attending this lecture, okay, you want to connect everybody's computer together, this is exactly how you're going to do it. You're going to create your IoT hub. You're going to create a device in IoT hub, okay? You take the primary connection string and you're going to put in that place, okay, for your, because every device, whether you like it or not, has some sort of software, piece of software. So you're going to put the primary connection string inside your device and it's going to send messages like this. Okay, so I've shown you this. Now let me tell you a little project that I implemented. So I told you that I was going to give you a real world example of an IoT project. Okay, so my company got contacted by another big company. Okay, so the company, that company has a lot of foreigners. Okay, so it has so far it has sent, yeah, Mr. James, yes, it has sent a lot of messages. So that particular company has a lot of foreign expatriate workers, okay, working in a particular location that is a little bit dangerous. Okay, so the company wants all the cars, okay, cars, motorbike, lorries, truck, okay, they wanted everywhere those cars are going to, that they should be tracked. That everywhere that the cars are going to, that they should be tracked. Okay, tracked in the sense that if it goes to a danger place, okay, it sends a kind of message. So there's IoT Central. Someone is looking at everything. Okay, if the car is going beyond the perimeter where it's not supposed to go to, okay, it shows. Okay, the person monitoring from IoT Central takes note. It calls another office. Take a look at. Let's check who is in this car that is going to this particular place. The reason why they decided to do that is because that particular that particular town was experiencing a lot of kidnapping. So, and they kidnap expatriate foreign workers, and they ask for a lot of money. They ask for, like, $1 million. If not, they will kill the person. So what the company did was, okay, so maybe they decided to connect all the cars to Azure. So in case the car is going to where it's not supposed to go to, someone knows, and they can, like, at least take a certain amount of action so that everyone does not, yeah, so they don't have to start looking for $1 million or $500,000 to pay ransom. Okay, so your connection string cannot be empty, Victor. Okay, so I'm going to come to that very soon. Just give me a few minutes. I'm going to explain to you. Maybe I'm going to stop that one and help you fix that, but just hold on a little bit. So I hope that you all understand the basic idea of what I'm trying to talk about. Okay, all our computers connected together. Okay, trying to communicate. That's Internet of Things. In Azure, you need three basic components. Okay, who can list the components for me? How many components do we need for Internet of Things in Azure? I want the chat window to be busy. List for me. Let's see. Three most important components for IoT in Azure. Chat window, type it there. Uh, yes, three components. I want the names. Okay, thank you, Ayomide. We have IoT Hub, which is what we just worked with. We have IoT Central. If you want to monitor everything, like I told you, the work I did, okay, thank you, Idris. Idris mentioned everything, okay? So IoT Sphere is because you do not want another person. Just imagine the messages coming from, the messages coming from the Raspberry Pi. Maybe a bad actor, or maybe a hacker, maybe a Russian hacker decides to hack that message. You know what's going to happen. It's not going to be good. It means the IoT sphere is compromised. So Azure does not want that to be. It means that the IoT, everything, the thing is. So Azure does not want that to happen. So because of that, they have their own special operating system, which is IoT sphere. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope that with this, that you have been able to understand IoT in Azure. Hold on, let me see. It's 95 messages now. Let me refresh. You'll see how many messages that might have been sent. Okay, so there's a little discrepancy. It's saying 65, but that can be true. Yeah, okay. The right message is 121. Let me refresh again. Yeah, so it's actually at this very particular moment is 121. So the internet is not strong. But with regards to Azure, when you're doing things like this, if you do not want to use your own internet with all these things, Microsoft has special packages for you to be able to do all that. Uh, okay, so Yes, yes, you have software engineers that are, yes. Okay, so let me answer. Okay, so we've come to question and answer a section. The first question I'm going to answer is Ayomide Sholeye's question. Okay, so you say you have, where when you were to work on real life work, did you create a software line of code for? Okay, let me explain to you. Okay, I just told you that my company got a contract to uh, okay, my company got a lot of contracts to monitor devices of, a particular company. Okay, so what they did was, um, they got some high-end sensors. Okay, the sensors had a place that could receive code. Okay, so remember that just the same way your Raspberry Pi is able to receive code, that particular device has ability, a place where that is programmable, a little chip that is programmable, and we like kept code inside it. So that was how we were able to get the connection string into that device and placed into all the vehicles. I think the vehicles were about 3,000 or 4,000 plus. So even motorcycle, motorbike, they were placed with that device, so that because the company does not want to hear stories about because there are certain perimeters where foreigners are advised not to go. So if out of love, some of these ladies, they can fall in love, they will not listen to the regulation or what they advise, they will still want to go there. So the company just wanted to make sure that, okay, no one is, if say, even if they are disobeying, at least they can see that someone is, and they can take action to save life and save money than to get uh, someone killed. Okay, so let me answer another question. Okay, let me tell you, if to read to manage, okay, Joel Dana Sabe. Okay, so Joel, let me answer one of your question. Okay, now the messages we're getting are just coming. Okay, to read and write them. Okay, we have other packages in Azure. We have other stuff in Azure. So if you look at Azure storage, okay, maybe in another section I'll go into that. If you look at Azure storage has different compartments. You have file share. You have a place where you can actually store messages coming from IoT like this. Okay, it's called queues. Okay, maybe I'm just going to quickly open it so you see. So if you want to read right, I think you can do it in queue. So let me just quickly open Azure Storage and I'll show it to you. So to be able to read write those messages, you need to use another solution. Okay, so let's open this, for example, this storage account. I hope that you all can see my screen. Okay, I think you can see my screen because I'm sharing my entire screen. So I just want to answer that person's question because for now, IoT Hub is just only receiving the messages. But if you want to do extra things on those messages, you need other solution. Okay. Okay, so you can see from here, okay, the light is back. So you can see from here, for data storage, you have containers, file share, you have queues. So if you want to store messages from IoT Hub, one of the solutions you can use is this. Okay, so queue stores only messages. So let's assume that you want to store a lot of messages and Azure storage is actually cheap. Okay, Cosmos DB is not so cheap, but yeah. So if we want to start those, we just need to create a queue. What did we call that one there? We called it Raphael. So let's say, so we can see that it stores only messages. So I'm not going to go too deep into this one because that's the story for another day. But it stores message. But you can see here the text message ID and the time the message is coming. So uh, we can actually make our messages go right into Azure storage. But the tech going into that is story for another day. Okay. So Mr. Rollins Litindo. Okay, so if you want to use Cosmos DB. It depends on whatever. It depends on what you're doing. Okay, but I think for this particular purposes, if it's just to receive messages and save messages, Cosmos DB might actually be not be the right solution for that. There are other solutions for that, because Cosmos DB is not so cheap, as in cheap, but Azure storage will be a cheaper option for you to use. Let's see who else has a question. So this is question time. Please ask your questions. I have about 6 more minutes. Okay, so I'm going to stop the Raspberry Pi. For the person that was saying I should connect afresh, you see that I clicked on reset. When I click on reset, it shows, look at line number 15. Okay, line number 15. It says there's a placeholder. You know what a placeholder is? A placeholder is just something that helps you receive something. Okay, so remove the placeholder and put your connection string there, and that will be solved. Who else has a question? Okay, so I assume that no one else has any question. So yeah, so, and I assume that you all understand the lecture. I'm trying to look through the chat window to see if there is any question that I can answer. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, that will be all for now. Since no one else has a question, I thank you for attending. Oh, okay. Ayomide, you have a question? Okay, the story. Yeah, so no, I think I'm not allowed to tell the full story because, yeah, non-disclosure. But, what we did, okay, what we did for, um, what we did for that particular company was we got special devices. Okay, I'm not going to tell you where the devices came from or the company that made them, because I signed non-disclosure agreement. Okay, so we got special devices that were programmable, just like your Raspberry Pi. They are sensors, but it can receive code. Okay, it can receive code. We got the connection string from like I told you earlier on. If you have 80 people attending this event, you want to connect 80 people's computer, means that you need to create 80 devices in IoT Hub. So the same process. You take the connection string of each of those devices you've created and you put inside the programmable device you want to put in those cars. So we got like about 3,500 cars. So we got about 3,500 pieces. It was a lot of work. They paid a lot of money. Yeah, that was what they paid for. So because of that, if the car is going, there are certain parts of Abuja that those cars are not allowed to go to. So if the car is going to, like, maybe it's going to Nyanya, for example, you do not want a white man to go to Nyanya and get kidnapped. So if it's going to Nyanya, for example, okay, someone will know, because it will show that that car is not supposed to go to that particular place. Okay, so someone will know. And also there is IoT Central, where all the cars are being managed. Someone will know. Another office will pick it up, and someone very high that no one will say no to will call them and say, listen, you are going to a place where you've been asked not to go to. We don't have money to pay. We don't have $1 million to pay for kidnap or ransom. Okay, please do the needful. And if anything happens, they will know that it's not on the company anymore, because at least the company tried to help them. So that was done for all the cars. And I think that because of that, a lot of them, there was, because of that project, okay, throughout 2022, there was no case of anyone being kidnapped or anyone, the reason why they took on that project was because one of the staff, a white staff, was actually kidnapped, and they were asking for, like, $1 million as a ransom. So that was why they took that project. And because of the project, no one else was kidnapped and no life was lost. And yeah, so someone said I should finish the story. I have finished the story. Thank you very much. Um, yes, yes, yes. For the demo, you do not need to do anything. Okay. If you're doing the demo, Mr. Ibali Chiama, you do not need to do anything. But if it's a real life project, they might come to, you might want to do one or two other things. Okay, but for the demo, it's straightforward. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, that's all. I only have 1 minute left. It was nice talking to you all. I hope to see you in another session. Okay, so before I go, Olani Hakim Bolu asked a question. Okay, for each cloud provider have their own kind of IoT solution, but the example I gave, that particular client uses only Azure and he wanted Azure. So he wanted to, because they use Azure in the place, so they wanted everything to run on Azure. Okay, so that was why they used Azure. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Hope to see you in another session. Bye for now.
Thank you, Raphael, for the session. It was really resourceful, and I hope everyone was able to grasp the concept. And you can download your certificates right away using the link in the chat box. Thank you again, Raphael, for sharing the knowledge and giving your time for the community. Thank you. Let me share the community links. I hope you guys enjoyed the session and you were able to grasp everything that we discussed so far. And if you love this today's session and if you are excited for more Azure events, please do join our community. I just shared the presentation where you can join the WhatsApp or the Discord or whichever the community you feel comfortable. And if you're not using both of it, I'm guessing you're using WhatsApp because Africa's WhatsApp is pretty famous, I would say. I think most of the people use, but if you do not prefer it, we do have what Facebook group as well. If you want to go there, that's available, and I shared it in the chat box. And have also shared the certificate for the today's session. And you can just fill out that form, and if you're receiving it right away in your email, when you receive it, get a screenshot of it and share it on LinkedIn and tag us. Our company or our community link on LinkedIn is there in the link for your certificate is there. You can go there and tag us, give us a follow for us for the efforts we are doing, and we want to give us a motivation for what we are doing to do better than this. So I hope you give us a little bit more support on from your side so that we will do more events or more trainings for you. So yeah, I hope some of you at least will share your certificate on LinkedIn and tag us. So yeah, and if there is any questions that you're having at the moment, you can ask me. I'll be here for 5 more minutes and I'll be signing off. And I hope you're using the shared links to join our community. Okay, I think a couple of people have joined our community. Welcome everyone, and do ask questions if there is any. Okay, so IoT was the first event on Africa region. I think it's not something that we are specialized in, but I would say we will definitely bring one more session, maybe a little bit advanced or a little bit more training or a little bit more time for you guys to be learning. I will definitely try to include that as well. Okay, so let me share. I think Sampan was asking for the YouTube channel. So yeah, let me just share that as well. Okay, thank you again for the being in the community.